We'll get this thing coming up so I can get it muted. Should be kicking out any time now. Come on now. Get yourself going. There she be. All right. How is everyone doing this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you may be in the middle of the world? It's about 12:15 here. And at least it's a decent day out. It's not looking too bad. Sun's shining. Of course, you can't see nothing but bright white. Not my beard, the light outside. See, that one's still in a good place. All right. Kind of weird on the lighting. That camera top down is bad on that top light. I need to do something. Go ahead and turn this up. It's going to wash out the directions. You're not here to look at directions. So I hope everybody had a decent Friday night. Took care of stuff and got some food and chilled for the rest of the evening last night. Tried to call a couple places today and see if they had some 3 and 4 millimeter nut drivers. So let me come over here. Oh, I don't have one set up. How did that happen? Let me see. Desktop not available. Well, how did that happen? All right, let's desktop 2. All right, so there we go. Let me go ahead and remove you. Bring you up. Now let's come over to Amazon and search for MIP. Whoop. My fat finger's in the wrong spot. See what we got for MIP nut drivers available. 5 and 7, 7. Okay, I can have that tomorrow. A bit, and that would work. We got here is a hexen. Bit tips. And make this full screen. It's the 3-piece. Dyna junk. Well, seeing a lot, but nothing in the 3 and 4 millimeter. 3/16. Yep, not seeing what I was hoping to find. There are tips. Generic MIP. Okay, I don't know if I'd trust that name. Nope, not seeing anything decent here. Klein make nice tools, but not what I need. $271. They're kind of priced over expensively, but it is MIP, but I still think that's overpriced. That's a 3mm. God, if I had one of these in a 4. I could use a 4mm of it. Which one is that? It's a 2mm. There we go. 3 and the 4. So MIP 4mm, add to cart. Go back. MIP 3mm. Add to cart. You got cheaper than the other one. MIP 2mm, right out of MIP. Nice. Add to cart. Go to cart, because I don't need the 1.5. I've got the other. Actually, what is that? It's not a 1.5. I think that's SAE. I don't quite remember. Maybe I should. Go back one. Go back one more. It's because I can. Now, let's see. Let's take out the rest of the stuff that I don't need in this cart. Just see where I'm at. 86. I don't need the driver handle. Oh wait, I got 2 3s here. Okay, the same price. See if I can have the 3 tomorrow. See, that's September. That's way out. Crap. So I'd like the 4mm right away. It's the ones I don't need. No, same ones. Alright, so I ain't gonna get it to me really any faster than I need. So I wouldn't need this one or the 2. I just need the 3 and the 4. I can have the 3 tomorrow. But I know the one I need is the 4. And for that price, I'd rather buy the whole handle unit. So really, it only gives me the 3, which I can't really use. Alright. Worth a look. Worth a look. Oops, let's see. I'm inadvertently close that out. What's up, Afna? How you doing? Closed off my chat window and didn't realize it, so I couldn't see. So yeah, I do need to come up with a 3 and 4 millimeter, mostly a 4 for right now. I got this cheap ass Onyx set, which had a 4 in it. Hardly usable. Aluminum unit, so it stripped out quite easily. Surprising is the RC 4-wheel drive bolts stripped out easily too. So today I'm going to bypass the shock build, section bag D, the dirt D bag. Because I want to get the upgraded shock pieces. Okay, these are I think these are the front, the rear uppers. These are the front uppers, those are the rear uppers, and those are the lowers. Go ahead and get these out. I'll put these over here for now. Two links. Not doing bad. Still fighting a little upper respiratory crap, but 'tis the season. 4 links. Otherwise, doing pretty good. I took yesterday off, vacation day. Have to burn up some of it. All right, you know, vacation is one of those use it or lose it things at work. So I burned up a day and got paid to work on my Origin. So I'm not complaining. 6 links. So it wasn't a bad day. Now today's just a weekend day, so I'm not getting paid, but I'll be paid again Monday because Monday's a holiday. It's a paid holiday. So I'll be doing stuff that I'll be getting paid for that day too, that I'm okay with. Alright, go ahead and open these up. Maybe I dropped one for a second. I'm working maintenance. Hey, Mayor, how you doing? I'm a maintenance supervisor at a apartment complex. I've done a lot of work, but a lot of it's been in the construction, remodeling area. But I've been in sales and musician, working act, not just somebody who plays once in a while. I worked and actively made money almost every weekend for 25, 35 years. A little downtime here and there. But yeah, the main gist has been construction, working my hands, remodeling, roofing, drywalling, flooring, wall building, actual rough construction, finished construction, cabinetry. Just haven't done a lot of plumbing, a little bit. More plumbing than electrical. I've done electrical, just pulling wires and simple wires and adding a circuit here and there, that kind of stuff. Nothing too extravagant. A little bit of concrete work, not a lot, a little bit. All right, so let's see. Let's open you up. Let's start a build. So these don't matter which way they go in there. The balls, they just slide in. But your other piece, or anybody who's never built one, that does matter. That goes in to the oh, I'm on that camera. Let me go to the other camera. Sorry. There. You're trying to see what I'm showing and you can't even see it. So this little thing's got two sides. One's a cup side, the little divot, and the other side's got a slot on it, like an edge that's where you'll use a screwdriver to push it around. And then your end piece, you notice this end here in the middle towards the centerpiece. Try to get some light in it. Here is smooth and clean, and this side's got a little, cut in there. That's the side you put the ball in from. It will slip in and kind of snap right in. And then the cup side, not the slotted side, but there's the divoted cup side. This is the side that goes down towards the swivel ball. Yeah, that'll work. Then you take a screwdriver and you just go in there and you make sure that is lined upward. You go ahead and do this put a mark on the slot side. Just enough to be able to see it. So we can see, add a little bit more light to it. Get in there. Come on now. Let's think some of these got silver Allen and some of them got black. And that don't fit. Gosh darn it. Means I gotta use okay, I think that's right because I had to use that before, I believe. Near the top. So what I do is kind of hold it in there like this, just so it's, and gently get your thread lined up. You don't want to cross thread these. They're a pain. Okay, just repeat. That's a weird thing. Something seems a little funny. I don't quite get it. Maybe slip this in there backwards. Could have. Okay. Number 3. This is a little slow and tedious work. Right on. I wasn't sure. I thought we're going to be getting together ourselves here locally and go do a little oval racing. But I think it's next weekend. Don't make any sense why this one's sticking so far out and those ones go almost all the way in. There it goes. Something wasn't in the right place. Take it to off-road track. Got a couple decent off-road tracks not too far from me. One's about 45 minutes. Mostly 8 scale size track. Pretty good size track. I've not been there yet. I'd like to go one time and at least and take the Pro Moto and at least go play around the track. But it's kind of hard sometimes. It's just me here at the moment, so no one else to help take care of the birds and stuff. So I don't get a lot of away time. Okay, there's one set. because those are the silver Allen heads that set there. I'll put those in. Tricky sometimes. Little tricky sometimes to get these right. But you want to spend the extra time to do it. Okay, there. Do get an extra bar. Did I forget one? Maybe I forgot one. Let's take a look. Well, got one. Got an extra one, I guess, in that one. Bonus. Sometimes work's more important. Depends on what's going on. But when you got vacation time, you got to use or you lose. You find times to use it. Okay, go ahead and put these on. Pretty sure we're just going to go right on. Run these on the uppers. Look at that. Perfect. These are the front uppers. And these are the rear uppers. Beefy. Beefy biscuits. Definitely thicker than what you got with the optic. The optic has some fairly thin upper links. Not with the Origin. These suckers are beefy. Okay, front rear uppers. Is that a shorter link? I have to get a spacer to put into these ones. Oh, rear uppers. That's this one here. It's a little long, guys. Let's see what we come up with. Little long. want to get the right spot. Pretty close though. Could probably get that last little bit. Like so. That worked out. Now let's get back into building 4 more. Okay. One. A 2. Okay, last one of this one. Come here, you little brass bastard. Okay, last 4. Go ahead and assembly line them, make it a little bit easier maybe. Okay. I've been building quite a while, unless you're talking about this build. I started yesterday morning. But as far as throwing stuff together or fixing things, repairing them, modifying them in RC, I've been doing that, most of my life. I got into RC in 78, 79. I was 9, 10 years, well, at 78, I would have been 12. So I got into it earlier, but when I really started able to get into it was, I'd like to say, about 12. Okay. So, back then in the 70s and early 80s, there wasn't a lot of, parts. I couldn't afford any of what we called real RCs at the time, so it was the inexpensive ones that when they broke, you had to kind of fix, so. As far as platforms, I've had a lot of everything over the lifetime. Right now, it's mostly off-road stuff. I've got the low-speed dirt bikes. I got an old Duratrax, the old Duratrax DX450 dirt bike. I'm turning that pretty much into an on-road cafe style. I got to build a body for it yet. Slash 4x4. Couple of dirt ovals now. Let's see. I'm probably going to have to crank these ones down a little bit. Yep, too big. Crawlers. That's the main things I probably have most of. It's pretty good. Do have a couple planes, but I'm not really much of a pilot. One of them, I haven't flown really any of these ones. I've always told myself I'll get out there. I've got real flight. I use it once in a while. But I'm more surface. Land surface. I got back. I was out of RC for a while. I got in. Been in and out most of life. Like I said, I started in the middle 70s, later 70s. And then 80s I got out and found bass guitar and girls and motorcycles. Of course, I had been into motorcycles since I was a kid. I was riding a dirt bike about the same time I was on a three-wheel tricycle. I'm kind of stiffy now. This one. Get her straight. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more Loctite on this for a second. Same thing with this side. Loctite. Yeah, my old man had all of us boys on bikes. Even my sisters, but of course they didn't take up with it too much. And by bikes, I mean motorcycles. Okay, that'll work. We all grew up on and around bikes. Okay, last link set. Going on for about an hour now. Yeah, hour and 3 minutes and 20 seconds. There we go. All those links are built. So the F bag is finished. Let me take this, put it in one of these as a spare. I've got another bag in the optic stuff that's got a couple of them in there. I'll put that there so it's not inadvertently tossed. Won't need this, and that is for the other one pieces. So this can come into my excess stuff. I guess I'll put it there. So they got me installing them, and I'm going to bypass installing them for a minute because I gotta get a 3mm and a 4mm nut driver so I can tighten up these nuts on the transmission before I do the install and go too far, because I'm using scale bolts on a lot of this stuff, and the drivers I have just aren't quite good enough to install those units. So I'm going to put those in with these right next to the tranny. Bag easy, that's just the drive shafts. So like I said, I bypass the shocks. I want to get the shock X-rings, the new rings they got for them, and O-rings to help seal them up, and the new top O-ring, I believe, to help seal them up. And I'm going to go ahead and order orange caps because I went with orange, and it comes with the red. I'll put the red on the optic, but I'm going to go ahead and order orange caps and an orange shock caps and an orange oil plug for it. So my first bike, more of a scooter, Well, actually, no. My first one was a mini bike. It was an old Bronco 50cc when I was, 4 years old, 3 years old, something like that. I mean, so I was on it. I got on two-wheel bikes at 2. I was riding a two-wheel bike, no training wheels, by 2 years old. So yeah, by the time I was 3, maybe 4, I think it was, somewhere in that area, my dad brought me home a little Bronco 50 wheeled and dealed from a guy. Got it going. So I rode that for a couple years, and then we moved, and the new place had a yard and more room. But ended up, Dad come home with a Sears 100cc. It's more of a moped. Just so I could have something to get around not just the property, which only had an acre, wasn't like it was much, but around the neighborhood, down to the store, and back, before they got home from school or from work and stuff. After I was home from school, anyways, and then a couple months later, I ended up having a 125 RS, Suzuki RS 125, which was their enduro at the time. So it was a street bike that you could enduro, flip a switch, get it into lower gearing for off-road running. And that was pretty much my first dirt bike. I had ridden a YZ80, or was it an RM? Might have been RM. Yeah, it was RM. Suzuki RM80s. A buddy of mine in the first, where I was born in Auburn, one of the kids that lived just down the block, he was his dad was an MXer and got his kid big time. Yeah, RM80. So he had a couple RM80s, and him and I were friends, and we'd go over there and we would work on his bikes and stuff. So I went racing with those guys a couple times, went riding. My mom never knew. Dad did, but my mom never knew. She didn't want me racing, didn't want me to get hurt. Typical mom stuff. So anyways, back to this. I am done at the links. I'm waiting on the shocks. I want to get the stuff, and from there it's assembling the shocks, the drive shafts, and the links. And then it's into the cage. Start pulling the cage apart. But again, I kind of want to have a driver, because I'm going to be putting in mostly the scale stuff. So really, I'm not too far from being done. If I could come up with a 3 and 4 millimeter driver today, one place is closed. One hobby shop, holiday weekend. They're an RV place too, so they're closed this weekend. They're closed today. The other hobby shop is also a gun store. They're not closed, but they don't have the smaller ones. They've got the 5.5 and the 7 millimeter for the nut drivers, but they don't have the MIP 3 and 4 millimeters. So he said I usually have them. That don't help me today. I even called the one an hour away, and they don't have any either. So I did put up a post on one of the local RC groups that I hang out with, local guys, and anybody got a 3 and 4 millimeter they can either sell or trade, because I will trade for them for a little bit if I can. But I'll buy them if I have to, or even borrow them if I can buy them or borrow them. So yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm kind of stuck for a few moments. Not much else I can do, because see, most of these bolts I'm going to be replacing with the other units, and I need, for a lot of my bolts, I need that 4 millimeter driver, so I don't mar things up, and because the one I got's crap. So anyways, the links part's done, so that's bag F, the F bag, and now it's got me into the G bag, which is dealing with the accessories and the cage and getting it built out. So I could, put a few of the things on, put the drive shafts and stuff on, get that set up. So I do have a few things I could use, but most of these are going to be 3x20. Three by 20s, 3x20s. There's 3x16, 3x20s, 3x14s for the links, 3x16s for the links, 3x20 for the shocks. Those are 6, those are 8s, those are 6, 14s, 10s, 14s, 12s. I should order some 3x14s. I don't think I got any of the 3x14s. Got 3x10s. I got 3x16s. But yeah, I'm going to have to order some 3x14s, scale bolts, maybe some 3x6 and 3x8s just to get a couple in here. A lot of these I won't be using. I'll have to use button heads here actually, because I think the scale bolts might prohibit going on. But anything that's going to be exposed and able to be seen as far as bolts goes, I'm going to try to use scale bolts as opposed to the button heads or the cap heads. That's why I need the 3 and 4 millimeter driver. Mostly 4, but wheels. So I am getting very close, because I am at the cage part. So yeah, if I did have a 4 millimeter driver that I could use well, there's the one thing I don't have is too many drivers. I've got a couple of the scale drivers from Vanquish and a few of the tool parts, but they're not, 4 millimeter, they're 3s, but I'd rather have an actual driver. So I'll get an order. Let's see what that was. So I need a 4 millimeter, and I'm not going to get that one. So let me try it this way. See what I can come up with. Seven millimeter. Ooh. MIP 4 millimeter driver. Tomorrow. Go back here. Don't have a 3 here. 4.5 will come Monday. I don't really need a 4.5, but I wouldn't mind getting one to keep it. No 3mm, but I can get a 4mm. So I double check what's the cost difference there. $4, but I wouldn't have to wait a week. Okay. So I guess I ain't bad. I can get a. I don't need the 4.5, but I'll take it. I'll come in 2 days, but that'll come in tomorrow. I could get this 3mm. That'll be. Oh, now it says. Oh, that one. That's the one I want for tomorrow. That's a 3mm. So I got 16 with the 3mm with the 1/4" driver, 4mm handle, so what else is checked in here? Got 22. Oh, that's why I got 2 of them in there. I only want 1. That's why. There we go. Okay, now I'll take the 4.5mm. Not that I'll need it much, but just in case. So that gives me a 4, a 4.5, and a 3mm. We'll take those. That'll work. I'll get a couple nut drivers. So I'll have them for tomorrow. Because I still got tomorrow and Monday off. So if that comes in tomorrow for my 4mm, I can finish that stuff up and get back into this build and finish it up. Sweet, that'll work. I can live with that. Go to orders. Close these out for now. Oh, it says arriving Monday, but no. I have to cancel it. It says arriving Monday. I want it tomorrow. At least the 4mm. The other things can come in a couple days. I don't care. But 2 of these are supposed to be in here. For tomorrow. The 1/4" driver and the 4mm hand tool driver, and the 4.5mm is supposed to be Monday. We'll see. Because it says arriving Monday, not tomorrow. We'll see. Well, I guess Monday will work, but I prefer tomorrow. Picture of what I'm building now. Yes. I can kind of do that. Let me see here. I can't come in this way and go like that with it, so let's come here. So this is my IMG page. And I've got the tranny here. You can see front axle, rear axle. That's what I just built yesterday. Here's the kit, body panels. Bring those up. So these are, like I say, the body panels are all machined aluminum. It's not stamped or anything else. It's a piece of 6061 USA billet that is then CNC'd out to meet each panel. And then this is mostly a bunch of stuff for it, or the dirt stuff. Same thing with the cage. The cage is all aluminum. Rims obviously are aluminum. This is the only black stuff here is plastic. The rest of this cage is all aluminum, and it's taken out of a chunk of billet. So you need one solid piece of aluminum for each section of the cage. The top's one piece, each side all the way front to back is one piece. Center pieces are all one piece. So these are all chunks of aluminum that 94% of the aluminum has been turned into chips and left with the cage. What it is, the Vanquish H10 Origin. That's the H10 Optic, which this is the one I have, the Battleborn Optic. I've got that, but that's not the one I got. Or I'm building this one, which is the Origin. So there it is in red. So basically I'm building that, but it's going to be with orange panels and wheels. I don't think they really show anything but the red and the blue. Maybe this clear one. Aluminum axles. Pretty much what you see here. If it's black, it's plastic. At least on these particular rigs. Except for here, these wheel, those are black. Those aluminum, obviously. Now this one's a black cage, but that's not plastic. That's aluminum. Black is one of the colors you can get. So there's a blue with a chrome cage, blue with a black cage. They had, multiple colors. X-ray wheels. So that's what I'm building right now. Oh, of course, it went blurry on me. I'll go back to that one. So that's what the one I'm building. All right. I'm going to shut this one down. We've been going, an hour and a half. Bullshit a little bit, build links. I guess I'm going to pause off until I get the drivers. Hopefully tomorrow, maybe Monday. I got other things I can do. But I do want to try to get most of this thing at least ready to be running. Get it loaded up and get everything put together, hopefully by Monday evening. Go back to work Tuesday for the long 4-day week. But yeah, we got the Gauntlet, which is I don't want to say competition, kind of a competition, more of a crawling event here in Michigan. That's coming up the weekend of September 19th, 20th, and 21st, I believe. So I'm going to be taking the 19th and the 22nd off. I'm taking those 2 days off too. And that'll leave me about a week's worth of vacation time before the end, before February, when I got to burn it up by the end of February. So I'll probably take a couple more days through the holiday season off and eat up that vacation time. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out, Afna and Mir. Who else? Somebody else was in here. Afna, Mir, and I thought it was somebody else. I thought I seen somebody else say something. Maybe not. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, BSing with me while I'm getting this part of the build done. Done with the F-bag, the links, machined rod ends. So I'm going to turn around, like I say, when I get that diff, or that 3mm diff, that 3mm and 4mm nut drivers, I'll be able to start actually putting this stuff together. Watch, now that I ordered a couple and got them coming, somebody on our local groups, yeah, give me $25 and you can have my whole set. I'll cancel and return those other ones, but I doubt that'll happen. But anyways, I'm going to shut her down. Thanks for hanging out. Get a chance, hit that subscribe button, slam that like button, that thumbs up there, and hit the bell when you hit the subscribe and choose all, because it doesn't do that automatically. It goes to personalized, so unless somebody's sending you a personal message, you're not going to get it when you subscribe to somebody. FYI. So thanks for hanging out. I may do something a little bit later. I don't know if it'll be this. I got a couple other things I can do. So maybe I'll pop up on a little bit later and get those things going. But thanks a lot for hanging out. We will talk to you all later and have a